All right, guys, thanks for stopping back in. We just rounded out Ghosts 10 through 6 favorite video games of all time. Up to this point in time, I guess I should say. So, same thing we do with the movies. We're going to jump into mine. We'll do 10 through 6. This is actually perfect. Creed, you left off number 6 with Call of Duty Modern Warfare. My number 10 is Call of Duty Modern Warfare. Yeah, so we'll continue this conversation.
Nice.
As is, I did touch on this a little bit slightly in your video that for me, this is what really changed the landscape of video games as far as online play, multiplayer goes, first-person shooters, right? We were heavy into that stuff. So this one for me, I just through and through, like it set the tone for all the ones to come. It's hard not to pick some of the other Call of Duties also. World at War was incredible in my opinion.
Okay.
You know, back in the day. So, but I will say Call of Duty did get to some of the ones, the last handful of them. I haven't really been that excited about those. I don't like the stuff with like a lot of the futuristic weapons type stuff. I really liked just the kind of simple basics of it. You know, there wasn't like these crazy, you know, different weapon systems and calling in, you know, I like the care package stuff where you can call in real stuff, right? The AC-130 and, you know, things of that nature. Now, I don't need like these alien drone things and robots and whatever else. So
turn it into Halo, dog.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I definitely kind of did go that route just a little bit. So for me, Call of Duty Modern Warfare was honestly, it was the beginning, but I feel like it was the pinnacle. I feel like if they remastered and remade that one and didn't change a damn thing on it, but maybe added some more maps like they have on some of the other games, I'd start all over again.
Andy, you're talking about the original one, brother? Modern Warfare, the first one?
I'm trying to think which one. I might have been the second one.
Okay.
The one you said too. I think it was more of that one. Yeah.
Okay.
Definitely.
Okay.
As it came into that one, but it was definitely that series of them that really, you know. And I'll be honest too, man. When it started getting to stuff where it became such a big deal to customize your banner and customize your gun and I just don't like. I don't know. That wasn't what I was on there for.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
And then again, you know, part of me too has heartache when you get on there and you see how you're dying sometimes, and it's like somebody across the map jumping up and down with a sniper rifle that takes no time to sight in, no time, like just jump shoot, and somehow it's a headshot. Like I don't understand it. I don't get that far into video games to where I'm manipulating the play and things of that nature. Like I just like to play through it, you know, and so that stuff, and I feel like that stuff was more prevalent in the later, you know, versions of the game or whatever. So for me, kind of back then, before stuff got out of hand, so to speak, it was just your team against that team, and you try to kill as many as you could and not die as, you know. So
back in that time when we met too, like 2006, 2009-ish, before all that wanted action, bending your bullet. Oh yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, for sure. So. Definitely, that one had to make the list because it definitely, again, like I said, for me, it kind of set the tone for a lot of games moving forward and the expectation of what online multiplayer should be.
Yeah.
Number 9 for me, this one's a bit of a throwback, to be honest with you. There's tons of versions of this out also, but I will say number 9 is going to be Need for Speed, like the original one back on the Sega Saturn. Probably the version that was, I think it was Hot Pursuit. It was one of the very first Hot Pursuits.
Saturn. Nice. Dog.
Yeah.
Nice.
So way back in the day, Hot Pursuit was cool because it was like the first one that not only were you racing the other cars, but you got to run from the cops.
Nice.
So,
nice,
you know,
nice.
So that one actually is holding, because it's Need for Speed, I'm going to cheat a little bit. Oh, the original Hot Pursuit and the first version of Need for Speed Underground, which I think came out around 03, 04 timeframe or whatever. But both of those are really kind of similar to me. They're going to hold my number 9 slot down for me. Need for Speed Underground was definitely more of the tuner car era, right? We're coming out of Fast and Furious, so we have all these cars with neon and nitrous and you know, all this kind of stuff. So for me, obviously, I love that shit. Still love that shit to this day. So those two for me were the cream of the crop as far as racing games goes. I know there was some other stuff. I played a lot of like Midnight Club and stuff like that, which was very similar in racing. But you know, as far as it, as far as it went for me, man, it was Need for Speed. And that original one, man, I remember Hot Pursuit. Me and my brother playing the hell out of that thing. Same thing as all the other games, the fighting games, all this shit. Man, my brother's always like, I got all the Ferraris and all the this and this and this, and you're stuck with this. I'm like,
son of a dog.
Sometimes it's bullshit, but whatever. But yeah, those games for me, I love, even to this day, man. And they've done a good job at updating those and putting out more modern versions of Hot Pursuit and stuff like that. And I think Need for Speed, probably from the time it came out, there's got to be at least probably 20 different versions of Need for Speed. So
Nice.
yeah, so that definitely is going to be number 9 for me, because it was one of those that back in the day logged a shit ton of hours playing Need for Speed, racing around. So
Oh yeah.
definitely
Andy, if you're cool with, if I add a little something to that, man.
go for it.
Need for Speed. Man, brother, did you watch that movie at all, man?
I did, but it was a while back.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Man, that movie was badass. I thought.
Really?
That movie was really
I thought it was okay.
Okay.
It was definitely one of those where, for me though, it was kind of like I was way more of a, obviously, a Fast and Furious fan.
Yeah.
So it was kind of hard to like buy off
Okay.
on the second rate stuff. And honestly, I do feel like Need for Speed probably could have done a really, really epic, top of the line type of movie, since there was the market for it, right? Everybody was into Fast and Furious and really into the car racing scene and all that kind of stuff. So I think the door was open for them. I just don't know that they went through it appropriately. I think, to me, it was one of those, we talk about this a lot, where projects feel like they got rushed. I feel like that movie got rushed to try to keep up with that there was a handful of other racing movies coming out, because there was like the Fast and Furious stuff was out, and then there was like, I can't even remember what it's called. I think there was like a motorcycle racing something movie. I don't know. It started to become the hot shit thing, right? To put out a racing movie. So
Whoa! He's got one of those big shiny things with a lot of tubes and curly coils coming out of it, with a red doohickey and... Vin, he's got one of those fancy thingamajiggers.
That's the real deal. But it's not the car you drive. It's the driver who's driving the car that's doing the driving.
Yeah.
I kind of feel like Need for Speed was like, well, fuck, we run the market for video game, for racing video games. We got to get a movie out. So I kind of feel like they banged it out a little quick. It was good in my opinion. I will say it maybe kind of felt like the Tekken movie. It's a good movie, but it's not like pinnacle of those types of movies. You know what I mean? So
Okay.
yeah. So that's kind of what my take on it would be.
Got you, dog. Got you. Man, if he's such this advanced robot that's badass, why does he keep transforming this piece of crap Camaro?
Yeah, no shit. Rude.
Oh yeah.
Let's see, what are we at here? Number 8. Number 8 for me is going to be God of War, the original God of War, the very first one. I think it was PlayStation 2, maybe. I can't remember.
Okay.
Yeah, the very first God of War.
Nice.
Love this game. I said this in Creeder's video that even when I was playing Assassin's Creed, I kind of leaned towards the Odyssey version, which is like the Greek mythology, Roman mythology time frame. I love that stuff. So when God of War came out, man, I was all about it, man. All about it. And I don't know, this I know was PlayStation exclusive, so I know you didn't really get into it much. Are you familiar with the story of God of War at all?
Kind of, man.
Kind of. I'll give you a real brief once over on it. I'm not going to take a lot of time because I'm sure a lot of you guys are familiar with it. But the main character, Kratos, he's just a badass warrior, right? He gets tricked basically like pledges himself to the God of War, but the God of War ends up, either killing or letting his family get killed. So he basically goes on this mission to kill Ares, the God of War. That's his whole entire thing. He's after him, right? And he gets the help of some of the other gods, and his main kind of, in your case, Cortana would be Athena, right? So she kind of helps him along the way, giving him guidance and stuff like that. And he's got these badass weapons, and he gains these, mythical powers over time. He can strike with lightning and do all kinds of shit. There's all kinds of the mythology built into these games and stuff. Well, he basically just goes on a rampage and starts killing off the gods of Olympus, like one by one, and all the mythological creatures and Hercules, and he's just a fucking badass.
Got you, man. Got you.
And his character, his skin color is white because he's basically covered in the ashes of his wife and son.
Shit.
So that's why he's like white in color. But
damn, okay.
But
Nice.
Super cool story. And the really cool thing with these games is they're really fucking long, especially if you're a dumb fuck like me, because it's puzzle games and shit. So every level, it's like you have to try to figure out, like, how do I get out of this damn chamber room that's got these like bat creatures that are attacking me, and like You can't just fight them all off because they keep coming back. You got to figure out how the fuck do I get this wall to move, and how, you know, like the sequence of things. So there's a lot of puzzle, a lot of strategy, just a really, really involved type of gameplay. You really have to be into it. You really have to pay attention and try to work your way through these things. And again, being, you know, like a Greek mythology, Roman mythology time frame game, I was all in. I loved it, man. And, you know, the follow-ups to the first God of War, a lot of those were just as good, in my opinion. Okay. Hands down, just as good. This is one that I'm just going to default to number one because it started it, right? You guys know, if you watched our top 10 movies, that's kind of sometimes the way I lean is towards the very first entry in a series or whatever. Okay. This one's easy for me to say because of that, you know, and obviously the games definitely get better over time, right? Because from the PlayStation 2 to now the PlayStation 5, the graphics and stuff change and it gets just more visually beautiful, and these landscapes are incredible, right? Yeah, so I can't just say, oh, the newest one is the best, because obviously without the first one, we're not even at the one we're at now. So for me, it was the first one. I was like, this is out there. This is incredible. This is super, super cool gameplay. Super cool just world to be in. The visuals were cool. The story was cool. I mean, you know, getting to the end where you have to fight Ares and try to beat him, and you know, throughout the rest of these games, you're fighting off all these other, you know, mythical creatures and gods, and
that's badass.
You know, you got to kill Zeus at one point, and like it's wild, man, because he's just like, fuck you guys, like
that sounds like a great ass movie too, man.
You know what? Here's the thing. For years and years and years, I've been really, really nervous that they potentially would do a movie, right? Not because I don't want them to, but because I don't want it rushed. Like this is one that like you have to do right. Get the absolute best actor you can for it. Have the story be ironclad, you know, keep to the game. Unbelievable visuals have to be in there. I mean, it just, if they're going to do it, it has to be done right. And I've thought for years, who would I even want to see play Kratos? And I can't come up in my head anyway of who I would feel like would make, you know, the best version of that character or whatever. But yeah, man, if they ever did it, I just hope they do it right, because and don't fuck that up.
That's the same shit with Halo for me. Gotcha.
Yeah. So yeah, and here's the thing with Halo. We were talking about this a little bit. The series that they just put out or whatever. We're 4 or 5 episodes in or whatever.
Yeah.
I can't think of the guy's name, but the main character that's playing Master Chief, I really, 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 really like him.
Yeah.
I don't have a lot of background in the Halo games, which I'm sure we're going to talk about in Creed's next video. But for me, not having full on backing of the Halo series for the most part, I'm enjoying it for what it is, but I mean, you can, you know, obviously probably elaborate more on that than I can, but I do like the actor and I like the direction it's heading, but is it, you know, does it match what the games are? I can't speak to that.
Gotcha, brother. Gotcha, man. Gotcha.
So, yeah. For me, dude, God of War, I love that stuff, man.
Cool.
I think I told you, didn't I show you the picture of what I was this last Halloween?
Yes.
I dressed up as Kratos with modern, like, tactical gear. So I was Kratos, god of modern warfare. Nice, it was like the best I could put together, but love me some Kratos, man. Love it, love it, love it.
Andy, before we move on, if you don't mind, brother, here's a question, man. Of course, we could probably break this down into another category. Man, I guess I already know, but your favorite console, man?
Oh, yeah.
Gotcha.
Easy.
Gotcha.
Easy. Gotcha. Nintendo 64.
Gotcha. Man.
All day long.
Gotcha.
Let me just look at my list real quick. I have 5 of my top 6 games come off of that console.
5, brother. Damn. Got you, man. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Nice.
I ain't fucking around.
Nice, Doug. Yeah. Cool.
My number 7, to get into that, this one I'm kind of cheating a little bit again on too, because there's 2 of them that hold basically the same place. They came out right around the same time under the same series or whatever. They were just separate entities as far as games go. They might have been like a year apart or whatever. But number 7 for me is Ace Combat. Specifically 5, Ace Combat 5 and the Unsung War one.
Okay.
Man, I mean, if you know anything about me, if anybody out there, you know, knows me, you know that, man, I'm all about fighter pilots and fighter jets and taking to the skies, man. Thunderbirds all day long, right? Like, I fucking love that shit. So, obviously, you know, for me, it was something I wanted to be in life. I wanted to be a fighter pilot. Unfortunately, I didn't have the vision to be able to do it. As you can see, I'm wearing glasses, not just because I'm old, but because I can't see shit. But, you know, so it was something that obviously didn't come to fruition. I never got to get into the cockpit or whatever, but man, my love for it has never gone away. It's only gotten stronger and stronger and stronger. So for me, Ace Combat was kind of the way in. And the cool thing with these games was I think it was Ace Combat 5 that was the first one that you could buy the throttle and the flight stick, right?
Was
so you
that?
had,
Okay.
I think it was, yeah, because I had that thing back in the day. And so you could just sit down and like, you know, you had the controls like you would in a jet and stuff. And like just being able to get, you know, my head at least in this concept of like, I'm in the cockpit, I'm going to, you know, get up there and fly and do some dog fighting and, you know, get my Top Gun on.
Motion in my foolish love's game.
You know, whatever, like that's what I was doing. So for me, this one is definitely important to have on the list. I can't not say that the Ace Combat series, even as a whole, I think they're up to like Ace Combat 7, which their games aren't really held to the standard of 1 through 7 because there was a bunch that came out in between that have different names like the Belkin War and the Unsung one and all that stuff. So there's more than just 7, but as far as they go, they've always been really good. They're phenomenal as far as the types of jets you have to select from. And, you know, you can get in the F-16, which is my favorite. You can get in the newer stuff, the F-22s, the F-35s. Shit, you can get in the A-10. You can also get in a lot of foreign stuff, the Sukhois and all that other kinds of, you know, junk that I don't like to fly, but whatever, you know. But, oh, man, for me, Creed, I've even told you this one, man. This would be like after a stressful day of class or whatever. I'd come home and just be like, I need to log a few hours in the cockpit and just
dog,
take to the skies. And to be completely honest with you, man, after beating the games and stuff and then just going back through, you can go into the free flight mode, right? So you just basically, like, there's no enemies. You just take to the skies and just
That's badass,
fly around. I can't tell you how much time I spent just flying around.
That's badass, man. Yeah, nice.
Love it, man. I just absolutely love it, man. I can't not have my fighter pilot game in here for sure.
Andy, if you don't mind me asking, brother, the you said 5, brother?
Yeah, and Unsung War. I kind of tied those two. They were very similar in time when they came out, but
The fifth one, brother, was that on the PS2, man, or
yeah, yep.
Okay.
I believe that was PS2, yeah. Because
Nice,
my
man.
flight stick was, you had to plug it in and everything. It wasn't like Bluetooth and all that stuff.
Man, PS2 had some pretty damn good games for it, man.
Dude,
I like the
PS2 was crushing it, man.
Yeah.
I'll even say I think the PS2 was hitting it so hard because they were coming out. Man, was it right around the time of the 64 or right after? The Nintendo 64 came out, and I mean, if we want to talk consoles and go down the rabbit hole of consoles, we can. I also on my channel on Sector7, not as far as videos go, but on the podcast, if you go to my links, you can get to the actual podcast. It was just an audio version of the podcast. I had Brock with me one day, and we talked about how hands down the Nintendo 64 is the best console to this day. And I will fight you on that. So, you know, go listen to that, though. I mean, if you want to know kind of our take as far as why we feel like the 64 is the way it is. But the 64 came out and, in my opinion, changed gaming completely. I will talk a lot about that when I get into some of my top 5 because there's a lot that come off of that system. But I think that was what really pushed PlayStation into putting out such good stuff. They had to compete, right? Like it was really like we gotta get our crap together and really hammer out some good quality games, because it was almost like for a while there, man, the Nintendo 64 couldn't do wrong. There were games they were putting out that I had no interest in playing, and then once I played them, I was like, damn, this is actually kind of a cool game.
Okay.
You know, so yeah, I think the Nintendo 64 pushed everybody else to get to that next level and really up stuff. But
Gotcha.
yeah, so I think that one was, by that point in time, I think Ace Combat was on the PS2.
For
sure.
Good old PS2, man.
Yeah, love it. Love the PS2.
Got a good old story. Remind me later on for the top 5 with the PS2, man.
All right.
Yeah.
Nice. Cool, man. Let's see. Rounding out my top half. So number 6 for me. We've talked about this. I joked about this a few times with you during the movies even. Number 6 for me comes off of the Nintendo 64, which then they also did put an exclusive out on Xbox. But that being said, it's Conker's Bad Fur Day. If you guys don't know this, I'll give you the brief rundown again, because every time I say it, it even makes me laugh. Conker the Squirrel was a character from a lot of the like kids games of the era for the Nintendo 64, right? So he was on like Diddy Kong Racing, and I think he even had his own little adventure game. He was just this little red squirrel and his bushy little tail and whatever. Well, for whatever reason, somehow Nintendo put out this game that, honestly, I think the developers probably lied to the production companies and said, we're just going to put out a little Conker's game. They're like, oh, okay, we know that fuzzy little squirrel. That'll be fine. Well, Conker's Bad Fur Day comes out, and Conker's Bad Fur Day follows Conker after a night of heavy, heavy, heavy drinking. And he's hungover as fuck. He doesn't have a clue what's going on. His girlfriend is lost, so he goes on this epic adventure, mad, crazy adventure to try to find his girlfriend. And it goes through this just incredible, weird storyline of shit. Random events that keep happening to this guy. I told you this and joked about it. There's one point where Conker has to jump on this sunflower, this chick character. She's a sunflower, just kind of standing there wiggling around in the sun. She's got humongous boobs, and you have to jump off of her boobs to get like up onto the higher point or whatever, right? There's a level where the main boss that you fight is a giant turd that has corn kernel teeth that like throws balls of shit at you. Like,
I am the great mighty Pooh, and I'm going to throw my shit at you. A huge supply of tish comes from my chocolate starfish. How about some scat, you little twat?
you know, it's so fucked up, dude. It is so fucked up. It is so hilarious. But it goes on to a bunch of levels that they take straight out of movies. You have a Saving Private Ryan scenes are in it. The Matrix, Alien. I mean, there's a handful of different levels throughout this game that you play that mirror completely from movies. And he this whole time is trying to figure out, like, where the fuck is my girlfriend?
Yeah,
you know, he goes to this one level where you're like dealing with all these like cavemen. And you go to this club, and it's this like dance club. It's like just bam, 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 bam. And like, if you just leave Conker alone for a minute, he starts dancing in the club and shit. And like, you can go over to the bar and get a drink, and his eyes like have like a meter, and they're like tick, 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 till he's wasted or whatever. And he's staggering around drunk. He'll start urinating on things. Like, it's the weirdest thing I've ever seen in my life. And it was so strange that it came out for the Nintendo 64 because,
and that's wild.
Yeah, dude, it's insane.
Wild.
It's insane because the Nintendo 64 was so heavy kid game oriented.
Yeah,
like everything about,
yeah.
even the controllers themselves, the colors of them, it was like a box of crayons, right? It was incredible, man. But if you guys have not played this game or even heard of it, get on YouTube and look up some of the cutscenes and gameplay from this. It will blow your fucking mind. So when we finally got done playing this game, like going through the campaign side of it, there's actually a 2-player version. So you can play multiplayer. You go in and there's a whole different horde of options of multiplayer games that you can play, from like Capture the Flag and all kinds of stuff, right? But there's all this array of characters. You can be like these weasels, or you can be the squirrel, or you can be the character of death, or this army sergeant. And like, I can't even tell you all the different characters that you can be. It is so funny though. And like, there's these death matches where like I said, like the Capture the Flag, you have these like 2 main home bases that are spread apart from each other, weapons laid out throughout the map, and you just go around killing each other, trying to capture the other flag and bring it back to your side. And like, there's a multiplayer game. It's like a beach landing where you can either be the immigrants or the like the terrorists, I guess you call them. They're up in this tower, right? When you're up in the tower, you either have a sniper rifle, a bazooka, or this like machine gun you can sit on, and you watch all these little immigrants come off the beach, and they're running like trying to make it to safety, and your whole job up there is to kill them all, like to keep them from escaping, right? Like, what the fuck? Like, and the funny thing is, all these characters are little teddy bears, and they're little weasels and these little squirrels, and like, what the fuck? It is insane. It is insane. It is by far one of the most insane games I've ever played in my life, but it's one of the funniest. I can't tell you the amount of hours that me and Brock spent playing this game, just laughing our asses off. Like, what is this? How is this even real life that this is a game? You know, that at that time frame too. We're talking, you know, before 2004. I mean, this is probably 2001, 2002 at best, maybe.
Yeah.
Something like that. But man, it was just... It was on a whole nother level of what the fuck, man. Especially for a video game at that time. It was wild, man. It was wild.
Nice.
But I had mad adventures with Brock playing that game for years and years and years after, man. We'll still, even to this day, get on there and play it and do some 2-player stuff. Oh, the other thing too with this game that was just wild was you would go in like to the main menu or whatever, where you could put in cheat codes, right? And the cheat codes would give you things like the additional characters to use in multiplayer and stuff like that. And it was like you had to put in all these just insane codes to play with whatever. Like one of the codes that you would put in was Rusty Sheriff's Badge, and I was like, what the hell is that? Like, I don't even know what that, like, why, what does that matter? Well, my young dumbass comes to find out a couple years later, a Rusty Sheriff's Badge is another name for a butthole, right?
Man, the creators on this.
Yeah, man, what the fuck? And like a Billy Mill roundabout, I still don't know what the hell that is, but it's got to have something to do with a hand job, I'm guessing. Not even that, bro. You know what one of the other ones is? Beef curtains.
Yeah.
What the fuck? Man, I would love to have somebody out there that's watching this. If you're familiar with this game, if you played this game, if you had this game as a kid, did your parents have any fucking clue what this game was when you were playing it? Or was this like, oh my God, we got it? Like, because I remember we played it and it was kind of like, we made sure to play it when the parents weren't around because, you know, we figured they didn't have a clue. This is a Nintendo 64 game. Like, oh yeah, it's this little squirrel. You know, I don't think they had a clue what was going on.
Shoot, D, my ass was about a senior in high school around that time, and my mom was like, nope, not playing that. Oh, yeah.
It was funny, too, because we didn't even know what we were getting into. We just were like, oh, this looks cool. Like, Conker's Bad Fur Day, like, cool little adventure game. Because, you know what? At the same time, man, you had... like Banjo-Kazooie. I don't know if you ever played that. You didn't really get into 64 too much. So there was other games like Banjo and Kazooie and stuff like that that were very, very similar, right? These like kind of cartoony character action things where you basically go through these adventure levels and you kind of solve some puzzles and collect things and, you know, just do a bunch of different shit, right? It's kind of like an offshoot versions of like Mario from Mario 64 and stuff. It's kind of just like those with different characters and stuff. So you definitely had a lot of these games that were fully geared towards kids, right? And then this comes out, and we thought the same thing until we started playing it, and we were like, "The fuck? Yeah, the fuck is this? Like, do I have to jump off of her titties? All right." Like, you know, like, and then you got this giant turd monster singing you this song about being the great monster poo or whatever the fuck. I can't remember the words to it. It's the weirdest shit, man. It is the weirdest shit.
Andy, when you told me about this, man, I actually that night went home to go check out some trailers of it on YouTube.
Nice.
And of course, sure enough, man, it shows right away with a sunflower. Ha 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 ha.
Yeah, what the fuck? Like, sorry, miss, excuse me. Like, wow.
Yeah.
The fuck.
Yeah.
Wild. Wild times indeed, man.
Oh, yeah.
Nintendo 64 coming in strong, though. I never did find out why they put that out on the Xbox, but...
Oh, gotcha, brother. Gotcha. That reminds me, man. Well, I guess even going into that, too, man, I'll backtrack to this. Man, you already know, dude, that sounds like a game that would be meant for, like, Neo Geo.
Mm-hmm.
Or even, like, Genesis or something like that.
Right.
Not Nintendo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Super weird. I mean, I probably would have even expected it on the PlayStation, to be honest with you. But
PlayStation,
yeah, it threw us for a loop because we had no idea what we were getting into.
Yeah.
What the fuck? But it was, I mean, I honestly probably more hours than I can even count were spent playing that game. Even just in the 2-player mode, man. Like I said, the 2-player mode was hilarious. Just running around killing each other. There's bazookas, machine guns, a katana. You could cut these little teddy bears up.
Nice.
And like the cool thing was these little teddy bears. I mean, you would shoot them and all the stuffing would come out. You know, like it was crazy, man. It was just honestly too. It was even kind of ahead of its time as far as the multiplayer side of things go. It just Oh man, it was a good game. It's a hilarious game. I'll try to put some clips in so you guys can kind of see what I'm saying if you guys aren't familiar. But I highly, highly, highly encourage you to seek this out, at least on YouTube, so you can watch some of the cutscenes and figure out, like, man, this game is nuts, because it really, really was. But it was a good time and it was a lot of fun.
Mandy, the other thing I was going to add to it, brother, is that same night, another trailer, man, that I seen, man, was the daydream or the night dream of Kyle Reese from Terminator, where the Terminators they're just these straight ferrets or weasels, dog, dressed up as Terminators.
Yeah.
Yeah, dog, of course, like some weasel or ferret skulls.
Yeah.
Yeah, dog.
Yeah, dude. There's like all these like different war scenes and stuff. The funny thing is too, man, when he ends up, the Conqueror actually, he ends up joining the army on accident, right? So he's like shipped off to war or whatever. And there's this Sarge character. He's walking around and he's just, and like every time he starts talking, he like loses his train of thought. So he's just like, and just like, fuck that shit.
Nice,
You're like, what the fuck? And Conqueror's trying to figure out, why am I at war? Trying to find my girlfriend.
Oh, Santa, got you.
Oh, man. That's a good one to round out my top, though. My 10 through 6, man. That's what I got for you so
good,
far.
Good list, man.
Appreciate it, man.
Cool.
Guys. Well, thanks for stopping in for that half. We will be pretty much right back. We'll get the other one out, too, as well. We're going to dive into the 5 through 1 or 1 through 5, whichever way you want to look at it. We'll jump on and do Ghosts, and then we'll do mine as well. Make sure you like, subscribe on both channels. I will do, again, I'll try to get all these posted on both the Ghost Arcade channel that you're watching this probably on right now, but I will also probably link a lot of this stuff over to the Sector7 Podcast page as well. So make sure you guys stop in over there. We do a lot of movie reviews and TV show reviews and stuff of that nature over there. So check us out. See you in the next one.